Dr. Juan. Paging Dr. Juan.
You are now tuned in to Revive America.
I love that. Was that the cue?
That was the cue.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Revive America, episode 27. Are you awake yet? And we're going to get into why it's called that. But first, I'd like to welcome you. If you are watching this stream, please share it with everybody you know, friends, family. Let them know to join us here at Revive America. I feel like my chair is really low, but we're going to make it work today. Billy is out saving the world from corruption. He's at an event. I'm not sure. He got so many events. I'm not sure exactly which one this is, but he will not be joining us, so you are stuck with just me. Hope you don't mind, but we do have a great show lined up for you. But again, please share, and if you are not following us on Rumble, please follow us on Rumble. My name is Dave Herrera, and you can follow me on Instagram at Not Your Typical Politician. But let's get going. We got a good show today, so we'll get started.
Yeah, and don't forget, man, Paige and Dr. Juan are still here.
Oh, I forgot about. Well, dude, if you weren't here, the show wouldn't be going.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have a show. It would just be me. There would be nothing. There would be no show. So, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but this is a pretty recent story. I think it's yesterday or today, and honestly, it's disgraceful. I'm going to read this to you. So the California Democrats block a bill that made child trafficking a felony. Now go ahead to the next slide real quick. Democrat-run committee of California State Assembly blocked a bill Tuesday, so it's 2 days ago, that would have made trafficking a minor a serious felony. The Republicans already had a bill in place, passed by the state Senate unanimously, Bill SB 14, which they have decided is not something worthy of a serious felony. Now, come on back here, Juan. I read headlines like these, and I can't believe that this is even a discussion, right? This isn't even a discussion. That it's not like a serious... Bro, 5 years ago in the state of New Jersey, having fireworks was a felony, which now one could argue is a ridiculous charge. One could argue is a ridiculous reason to give anybody some sort of felony, the F word, right? That's the only F word I don't like, felony. Ugh. and Fauci. Felony and Fauci. Those just suck. But for somebody to say that trafficking a minor is not a serious crime,
Yeah, it's weird, bro.
it boggles my mind to think that this is the world that we're living in, that people would actually vote to be like, nah. Like, do you guys understand? I know most of you that are watching, and all of you that are watching, understand that human trafficking is not only a problem, but it should be considered a crime. It should be punishable by the death penalty, in my opinion. Again, I'm not a lawmaker, but I would argue that. Now, there was some people and there was another article that I read on this, and it talked about how there were young women victims of trafficking in the audience, because this I know they didn't share it with you on your mainstream news feed here, but it did pick up a lot of press for the people that were affected by this, and they showed up to this hearing, and there were sobs that were heard. That's what the article said. There were sobs heard in the audience from victims of this, and my heart goes out to them. To know that your justice system, your elected officials, are actively trying to fail you. Right? There was already a bill in place that already passed, and now you're writing a bill that blocks a bill from continuing. Like, there's no benefit of not making this a felony, right? Again, go back to something as simple as fireworks were considered a felony. Why is it that sex trafficking is not considered a serious felony? Now, that's one of many stories as to, are you awake yet? Things like this are going on, and people aren't paying attention.
Yeah, trafficking has been... I honestly feel like it's one of the should be a very extreme thing going on right now, man. You know what I mean? It's what the hell, you know what I mean? Like I can't imagine it. And I've played video games where you know what I mean, like all this craziness starts going on and shit, and it relates to all that traffic and shit. Bro,
yeah,
man.
I mean, dude, this isn't like, we're not talking about like assault, which, by the way, is a serious felony crime. Drunk driving, which is a serious felony crime. We're talking about taking away someone's innocence, taking away somebody's freedom, taking away somebody's right to choose things. Where are all the my body, my choice people? Where's all the I want my choices people? Where's all the people, the humanitarians, right? The people concerned with the world and, what kind of world are we going to leave for our kids? Like, you're not even concerned what happens to the kids, let alone why should we be concerned about the type of environment we're leaving for them? Mm-hmm. So, head scratcher from California, but what can you expect from the state that, if global warming is real, most people hope just fucking gets surrounded by water, bro? Because when you're voting on bills like this, you've got homelessness at an all-time high, you got drug addiction and fentanyl at an all-time high, you have illegals at an all-time high. Like, this is insane to me to think that this is even a topic of discussion. But moving on.
Hey, before we get in here, man, big shout outs to Guido Joe 23 in the chat. Says, hi, election integrity matters. Joe A. Bergen County, NJ. And then Billy for CD9 2024.
Yeah, buddy. Yo, he's going to win this year.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
That's my dude, bro.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's my dude. And I don't know what 2024 holds for me, but I know I'm going to give Billy some free time. And I'm going to help him out. I'm going to knock on some doors. Because, I believe in Billy. Billy's not just again, I met Billy as a candidate, and, he blew my mind. I have said this multiple times. He was the reason why I got involved. One of the big pushes. I knew I wanted to get involved, and then I remember seeing Billy, and I was like, damn, this dude is bringing the heat. I gotta fucks with this guy. And then, we became boys, and, now we have Revive America. So
I'm happy he's taking the advice that you've been putting on the show for everybody who's been working on their health, you know what I mean?
Yo, for real, bro.
He's in the gym, bro.
Yo, Billy's in the gym. We got Juan and Kim just picked up some meals. They in the gym.
Dr. Juan?
Yo, we're out here, right? Fitness, man. We're gonna make America strong again. Some real shit. Mm-hmm. the Biden DOJ indicts a whistleblower, Gal Luft, not Hunter Biden, for FARA violations. Go to the next slide real quick, and then we'll come back. The U.S. Department of Justice indicated that Gal Luft, a whistleblower in the Biden family scandal, for failing to comply with Foreign Agent Restrictions Acts, but never indicted Hunter Biden for the same. Now, for those of you that don't know what this guy was on the run because he was afraid that he was going to be murdered or suicide himself for testifying against the crimes that he had actual evidence of the Biden crime family. Now, again, they are going to indict him with the same charges that Hunter Biden got a slap on the wrist for. The only difference is, well, there's two, really. One is the son of the president, and two, this would be very damning to the family and the potential 2024 run of Sleepy Joe. Now, why indict a guy that all he wanted to do was give you the information? Now, this just goes to show you that while you're all looking over here and you're all paying attention to nothing and Joe's squeaky clean and there's no problems, everything, there's a guy who can give you all the evidence you need to understand that there is a criminal enterprise occupying 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue right now, and you don't want to hear it. You don't want to see it. You don't want to believe it. Now, I don't know if it's voter remorse. I don't know if it's your ego. I don't know if it's your inability to actually step away from the bullshit propaganda machine that you've been perpetuated by for the last decade. But you got to wake up. You have to look at this. This is not conspiracy anymore. This is not far right-wing extremist policy anymore. This is not, Dave, I get it. I got the Save America hat on, but this ain't like, oh, he's a pro-Trumper. Like, yeah, I'm a pro-Trumper. But this is really happening. If this shit was happening right now and Donald Trump was in the White House, I would be on this show the exact same way, talking the exact same shit, right? If Don Jr. was getting money from a foreign country, if Donald Trump had been getting money siphoned to him from foreign nationals while he was occupying the office, if we had seen drugs in the White House, if we had seen corruption, if we had seen the creepy child sniffing trippy behavior from Donald Trump, I would be on this show talking the same way. This ain't political bias. Everybody knows me by now, knows I lean a certain way. I support a certain party, but I don't support certain actions, right? These are inexcusable, and I think it comes down to the point where I don't believe the Democrats can stomach the fact that they have to admit this is not right. This isn't good, right?
Yeah, I honestly, bro, I would just throw this off there for everybody who's listening, whether Democrat or Republican. You know what I mean? Honestly, bro, and especially in this podcast, I kind of feel like we're leaning toward our own way,
right?
Because mind you, everything that we speak about on this podcast is common fucking sense.
Common sense.
It falls into everything. It's a trail of things that add up. You know what I mean? We're not sitting here telling you like some other fucking shit so you can believe some type of thing. But
right.
It's like when we give you any type of information, we back it up before we say anything. Why would we want to just out of nowhere just want to come out with just some news that just will make no fucking sense? That's why we always tell people to ask questions.
You're right.
You know?
You want to know the craziest part is that people accuse us of being conspiracy theorists when we're literally posting the links. We're not making this stuff up. Everything that we talk about here on the show is backed up with an article that's written by a lot of these mainstream teats that you suck on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Right? There's CNN, there's MSNBC, there's Fox News, there's Newsmax, there's New York Times, New York Post, The Guardian. We post all of these articles and we discuss and we talk about it. And then you have people that come onto my social media and they're like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. And I'm like, I'm literally reading the articles and we're talking about it. Just because it doesn't fit your narrative, like I said, the difference between me and a lot of people that are on the left is if there's an opinion that I don't like, okay, it sucks, but again, if this stuff was happening under a Trump White House, if this stuff was happening in any White House, you should be able to separate your party from your allegiance to your country and what's good and bad and what's wrong and what's right and talk about it, right? You can't just be like, well, that's my guy, like I got to back him. Like, no, that's the problem with our government is we continue to back these people. We continue to back these people that don't really have our best interest. Like, we continue to sit here and pretend that you have to stay with your team. Like, this isn't football. Like, I've been a Jet fan my whole life. The Jets are trash. That's okay. I can support the Jets even though they're trash, even though I think this year is going to be different. That's what we say every year. But the Jets aren't out here committing treason against the country. The Jets aren't out here laundering money to Ukraine. The Jets aren't out here, with drugs at the stadium. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference, right? You can have allegiance to certain shit, but your allegiance should always be to your countrymen and your country over your party. That's always what I said. I did that hashtag for my last 2 campaigns. It was people over party, people over politics. And they're like, how could you say that? And you support Trump. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm a Republican. That's the guy. That's the guy I support. But the minute he steps out of line, I'm going to say something about it. I'm not just going to turn my back and be like, well, Trump, When he had when that locker room tape thing came out, when he was like, these girls, they love you. They let you walk up to them. You can just grab them right in the, I'm not going to say it. Yeah. I was one of the first people to be like, why, Donald? Yeah. Why? Like, I wasn't like, ugh. But again, at the same point, I'm like, yeah, but you know what? First of all, and I said this to people, I'm like, that was out of context, number one, because locker room talk. I'm not justifying it, but, bro, I've said shit with my homies in closed settings that I would never say publicly. I'm sure you have, too.
Yeah, of course.
And you know what? For the ladies who be like, oh, my God, y'all just as bad. Y'all say just as nasty shit, too. So stop, right? I grew up, most of my friends were girls. I heard the way they would talk about other dudes, and I was like, God damn, like y'all are foul. Yeah. First of all, I've owned a bar for the last 6 years. I've seen the women's restroom. Y'all nasty. So it's always worse in the men's room. There's always toilet paper everywhere. Like, ladies, you can't flush tampons. I don't know who didn't tell you this, but stop doing it. So, yeah, you catch them out of context. But I was the first critic. Like, that day, I was like, no. We can't. You can't have this. I get he was saying it with his boys. That'd be like, if you had a secret recording on me, like after the show, we chilling on the couch, bullshitting about whatever, Juan, and somebody recorded it, and the next time I decide to run, they're like, oh, look what Dave said when he was chilling with Juan after the podcast. Like, yeah, bro, like I'm talking with my boy. I say wild shit with my boys. I wouldn't say that publicly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, you want to carry yourself a certain way, especially in front of people. But if it's people that you know, that they know you, like, you could be saying the most reckless shit to one of your friends.
Yeah.
And they won't believe you. They'll just laugh because, they know you.
Like, bro, I mean? The same stuff, like, I mean, I have a different relationship with, but, like, there's stuff that, like, most people will say to their friends that they wouldn't say in front of their parents, right? Like, there's stuff I say to my mom I wouldn't say to my grandma, Yeah. There's levels, right? So the things that he got caught saying on that bus, like, I'm not here to excuse them. I'm not here to defend them, but I'm not going to say that I haven't been in locker room type situations with the boys where they're like, yo, what'd you do Friday? They're like, yo, we went out here, met short. But come on, man. Everybody has done that. But we got to call it out, right? I can't be like, I'm a Trump guy. I'm not going to say nothing about it. Like, nah, fuck out of here, bro. You said that. That's wild. You got caught. If you are that high profile of a person, right? Like, look, I ran for city council twice, and that is nowhere near as high profile as Donald Trump or running for president. But I knew every little thing that I said on social media or out. Like, bro, I literally, they got me, right? Yo, real talk. You want to talk about it? I was at East Brunswick Day 2 years ago. And a guy who supports me, he's a nice guy, right? I'm not like saying we buddies, we chill, but he's a cool guy. Mm-hmm. He walked up to my table to talk to me, and somebody took a picture of me talking to this guy. I didn't even know because I was talking to so many people, right? Mm-hmm. I had no idea he had a shirt on that said spay and neuter liberals. I had no idea, bro, because I was just talking to the man. Like, I was handing out cards, talking to the kids, taking photos. He came up. He said, oh, what up, Dave? I was like, hey, what's up, man? Gave him a dap. Literally 10-second conversation. He walked away, and then they posted a photo of me, and they're like, oh, he's for everybody? That's why he talks to this guy? And I'm like, oh, bro. Like, you see? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, again, they will take in this game of politics, they will take literally everything about you and twist it out of context.
Yeah.
That's the game, because politics is not anymore what I'm going to do for you, the community, the country to make it better. It's why you shouldn't vote for this guy, why I think he's a piece of garbage. Because if I make you afraid to vote for them, well, your only other choice is me, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a garbage way of trying to govern the country, and it's only going to continue to fail Americans, which is why we see bills in California where they make trafficking minors not a felony. Because we vote with our feelings. We vote for the guy that we think is, but they don't give a fuck about you. They don't even care about your kids. They're going to let them get trafficked. And you know what that person's going to get? Probably 30 days in a mental rehabilitation center, a slap on the wrist, a little probation, and they're done. They're never going to see hard jail time. So again, what is the deterrent from you trafficking children if it's not a fucking crime? It's a misdemeanor.
Yeah, indeed. And I feel, and like we said, man, it's just to conclude everything too, man. It's do your research.
Do it.
Do your research.
Yeah.
And read it a couple times before it really makes sense to you.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the main thing. Read
Yeah.
something and really think like, yo, does this really make sense? Because honestly, everybody's just either watching shit and
Yup.
believing what they see instead of exactly really going in and actually researching stuff. 'Cause
Absolutely.
That's what we're about, man. We're about, actually really researching something before we even talk
Facts
about it.
over feelings.
Yep.
Fuck your
exactly.
feelings. Get your facts right. I don't care if the truth is going to hurt you. I always say to somebody, because they were like, you're a little rough on the edges, Dave. I said, would you rather, right? Dave, you're a little rough on the edges. I said, would you rather the ugly truth or a beautiful lie?
Yeah.
Would you rather the ugly truth or a beautiful lie? Because I can tell you all the most beautiful things that mean absolute zero, or I can tell you the ugly truth that you may not want to hear, but once we get past that shock factor of what I actually said to you, we can work on how to fix these problems.
Amen.
Moving on. Ah,
Speaking about that.
Secret Service ends White House cocaine investigation with 0 leads. Let me say it again, 0 leads. Go to the next slide. CNN was actually not only defending the fact that cocaine was found in the White House, but they were basically celebrating it and encouraging it. They're not even pretending that this is a clown show anymore. There's nothing this administration could do that would cause CNN to hold them accountable, or, for that fact, any of these mainstream outlets. I find it extremely concerning that the most secure building in our country has 0 leads, right? Again, I talked about this last week. When January 6th happened, there was 130,000 plus hours of surveillance, right? Even though the mainstream showed you like the same 20 minutes, there was thousands of hours of surveillance footage of people going and coming and dropping and picking things up and doing this and doing that. And they were able to find people based on facial recognition through masks and goggles and helmets, and they were able to take these people down. But you find a bag of narcotics, right? Those are felony narcotics, up until California probably votes on it not being a felony. But cocaine is a felony drug. It's a controlled dangerous substance, CD1, for those of you that don't know the police code. No suspects? No leads? Like, I would rather, and I'm not, we all know this is Hunter Biden's coke, bro. This is Hunter Biden's coke, bro. I would rather you at least have fucking pinned up some bullshit-ass intern at this point.
Yeah.
Like, give me somebody. Restore integrity. Now, as much as I don't like Joe Biden, because I think he's a fucking lunatic, I think he's deranged. He's got dementia, the poor guy. But I want my president to succeed, right? And that's another difference. I don't need to like this guy. I need him to be successful. I need him to win, right? I've had plenty of bosses at jobs that I don't like at all, but I need them to succeed at their job, because if they don't, I don't got a job either.
Yep.
Just like I need my president to succeed in running my country, because if he don't, I don't got a country. Give us something to restore integrity. This is the White House. And you couldn't even have been like, it was Joe Schmo, the intern. He had a drug problem. We're going to, he's going to get, charges, and we're probably going to send him to rehab. Like, that would have at least been like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're like, nope, we've got no suspects, nobody, no idea where this cocaine came from, just fell out of the sky. Like, bro, anybody who buys this shit, like, come on, man. Like, they don't even care. And that's the point of this, is they don't even care to try to answer to you, the American public. They're basically like, shut up, stupid. We already got your votes. You know when they're going to care about your votes? In a year from now, when primaries are happening and they need to get your support, right? They're going to be talking about how they're going to bring the American comeback back and bring up blah, blah, blah. It's all stupid. I can't even re-utter it because it's so garbage, because they told you all this in 2020. And what have they given you? Name it. Name it. For all my dissenters and all my people who are like, you're this, you're that, tell me, what is better under this administration than the last? Even under the Obama, give me something. Something. What are you going to tell me? The economy's doing great? That's a lie. What are you going to tell me? The job numbers are up? Because that's a lie. Because, again, they are up, Dave. No. The unemployment numbers, for those of you that don't know, I don't know if you know this, Juan. I didn't know this until I read this. The unemployment numbers are based by those who are actively seeking employment. So if people stop actively seeking, the number looks like it has gone down because people aren't looking for jobs. So the government goes, well, people found jobs, employment's up. No, people just stopped, or people started their own hustle, or they're working under the table for cash. That doesn't mean that the unemployment numbers have changed. That just means you have changed the graph in which you do that. It's like when you see a poll on CNN and they're like 87% believe Donald Trump's a racist, and then you look at it and on the bottom it's like we polled 100 people outside of CNN. Like, yeah, bro, like you talk to 100 liberals outside of CNN and 87 of them said that Donald Trump's a racist. Okay, but you're giving me a skewed binocular effect on the facts, and that's what they're doing here with these numbers. But I'd love to hear from anybody. Like, I had that guy we talk about. He was in my inbox, talking a whole bunch of shit. And I was like, bro, like, call the show. Come talk. Like, otherwise, get out of my fucking inbox, you grown weirdo. Like, God, I got this 50-year-old guy who pretends to be a Republican, who hates MAGA Republicans because we're not real Republicans, and he just likes to follow me for the laughs. Yet, I left you in my inbox like a creepy female for a year, and we laughed about you. And I got a picture of what you look like, and I would fucking be as miserable if I was 5'4" and bald, and my 13-year-old was fucking taller than me too. But get off of my gabish. You know what I'm talking about? Like, unless you got something really to say, like, you just want to hate. You just want to hate. Yeah. And they don't have any facts. Like we said, they have no facts. It's, oh, you're just this, you're just that. I'm like, man, do some research, do some reading.
Yeah, I'm a little bothered about that article too, man, where they said that they didn't find anybody and shit, because
nobody.
And in all honesty, that just shows right there that America's becoming more clownish every single time.
Right
now, and the fucked up part is that the people who always say, "Oh, that's not my problem because it doesn't affect me." It does. When it really fucking does.
It does.
I hate when people say that. And honestly, I kind of feel like those are the same people who make a joke out of it. So when the news will say, "Oh, there's nothing found," so you'll find somebody in social media will be like, "Oh, somebody's having a good time." Then out of nowhere, you'll have hundreds of engagement toward that one comment saying they're having fun. They're having a fun time in that place, and everybody makes it a joke. This ain't a fucking joke, bro. Because if that was the case, if that was you, and that's the shit.
Come on,
some
bro.
people are not in that position.
Come on, man. I mean? It also goes into how other countries view us, right? Even though we're not top dogs, we're still the top dog, right? We've fallen behind in reading. We've fallen behind in economic growth. We've fallen behind in a lot of the big statistics that matter. But America is still a powerhouse on this planet. And now, when you have foreign leaders coming into negotiations with such a feeble administration, you don't think that they feel that they have the upper hand, or why would I take this guy seriously?
Yeah.
Like, now you can't find anybody that brought this in. Who's to say that somebody isn't going to bring something worse into the White House? Who's to say? And you're not going to have anybody. And again, they'll say, oh, that would never happen. And the truth is, you're right. It would never happen. The only reason this never happened is because it belonged to somebody who's very important up at the top, and they have to bury this. If this, again, switch it. Go back to 2019. If a bag of cocaine was found in the Trump White House, they would have that place sealed off like Monsters, Inc. when a fucking sock came through the door.
Yep.
They would be 2319, and they would all be down, and all the Trump kids, including Barron, would be in questioning, and Melania would be handcuffed, and Trump would, bro, it would have been a whole spectacle. They would have dragged this family. But they have to preserve Joe because he's like a preserved mummy at this point. They have to just keep him safe and wrap him up in bubble wrap. And it's okay, Joe. It's okay. And we can't allow that to be the standard of who runs this country.
See, the problem is, too, man, is, like, I kind of feel like, yeah, in reality, bro, like, the more I start watching the news, the more I start hearing about these articles of just random shit happening.
Right.
Dave, I'm being real honest with you, bro. I'm kind of feeling they're just throwing it in our face. They're throwing it
100%.
in our face. The people who are really trying to change shit, they're just clowning it. Like,
100%.
oh, you know what I mean? Like,
bro, 100%.
Like that's what I kind of feel like they're doing at this moment. They're clowning
because
us,
there's
bro.
nothing you can do. There's nothing you can
Yeah,
do. They're gonna
so-
throw it in your face and go, "What are you gonna do?"
Yeah.
They're hoping for another quote unquote January 6th. They want people to get mad. Right? I was literally just telling the story of what happened to me at work last night. I had a guy, he said some foul-ass shit in front of a little girl. And I told him, yo, lower your voice, bro. Don't talk like that. There's a girl here. And he's like, yo, you're a fucking clown. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay. And then I told security, I was like, yo, tell him dude got to leave. And he came back and he was like, oh, this mother, he told me I got to leave. He started with me. He's like, step outside, call me a whole bunch of names. And I was just like, okay, all right. And then he came back and he started again. And like, he was trying to get me to that point. And I wasn't giving him that satisfaction, which made him in turn continue to try to bait me. Right. And that's what's happening now because common sense people are not biting. They're like, no, I'm not. You're not getting me on this one. Right? That was like when they were like, we're doing another show up at the Capitol, and the only people that showed up were Fed boys with tucked in khakis. Like, nobody showed up, bro. You trying to catch people doing shit. And they do this stuff. Like I said for a year that they were going to build a new high school in my town and raise your taxes. And they were like, he's lying. And the fucking November 2nd was the election. And November 10th at the council meeting, they're like, by the way, we got to raise the taxes, and then we're going to cut up the road and shut down the lanes for 4 years and, just fuck everybody in the town, right? And they, I was like, oh, they're going to fix the truck problem on this road because Dave made it a video and he showed up. And I still get emails to this day because they put up a sign right before the election. It was like, no trucks, and they had a cop sitting there, and all the people were like, yay. And, bro, November 2nd happened, and that fucking, as soon as the polls closed at 8 o'clock, the sign and the cop were gone. I still get emails, bro, 6 months after the election because the elected officials in my town neglected those people because they only did it to get votes because they played on your feelings. We'll help you. We're the team that can help you. We got the team of experience. We'll help you. November 6th, fuck you. We'll see you in 4 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people have short-term memory. It's called it's Stockholm syndrome. You get abused for 4 years, and they're like, no, shh. I didn't abuse you. You have to understand the way the money works. We had to allocate it to the schools, and we needed to put new pipelines in. No, we didn't forget you. Just vote for me one more time. I'm going to take care of you this time. And you're like, okay, because you're used to being abused, and you're like, you're in love with your captor, and you vote for them again, and then they beat you November 3rd. For the next 4 years, and then you come back for more because you don't know what else to do other than be beaten and controlled. I'm not wrong, though.
No, you're not wrong.
You know what I'm saying? When you put it that way, it sounds idiotic, but it's so true.
Yo, big shout outs to everybody in Rumble right now watching. Yo, I see Vash in the building.
What up, Vash?
Got Ticana in the building. She's like loving that voice, Dave.
Hey, yo.
And Guido Joe says, the sound of freedom, Tim Ballard.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah,
we're getting there. We're getting there.
We're
We're
gonna
getting
talk
there.
about
Don't
that
worry.
whole
Don't worry.
thing. It's a good movie, yeah. Says Vash and everything else. But yo, that voice impression It reminded me of the guy from Dodgeball, Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Damn, look at that.
Fuck Chuck Norris. Moving on.
Oh, yeah, man. I remember this shit, bro.
This headline alone should fucking bother you. Transgender woman is crowned Miss Netherlands for the first time in beauty pageant history. Now, I just want to show you, before we go back, look at who the runner.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yo, all right, listen, I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, but this woman on the right is one of the baddest women I've ever seen. And she lost to a dick in the women's like, that is a beautiful female. And this thing on the left, scary.
It's crazy, bro.
Like, I'm a little jealous of that shoulder vein she's got, because I've been working on that, and mine don't pop like that. But, like, her smile is like Ratatouille. You look like a man, and you're telling me that you were crowned Miss Netherlands.
Yeah, they're throwing it, bro.
It's so in your face. They want you. It's like, and it's like, don't take the bait. Don't take the bait.
Every single thing, bro. I watched a TikTok video the other day of somebody making fun of somebody in the UFC, somebody who was competing in the UFC who was a transgender or some shit.
Bro,
and
you
fighting
literally
against a female.
You literally have an angel against fucking Gollum from Lord of the Rings. This person looks like Schmeagol during its transitional era when it found out the Ring of Power was going to corrupt it. And it's like, I want Miss Netherlands, my precious. Like, but they're talking to their wiener because they still have one. It's so sick. Yeah. Are you paying attention yet? Where are the feminists that are out here for women's rights bowing down to men who are now the new women?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. And like, I'm all okay. Like, I understand where I'm at. Like, but we need to get more people, right? The fact that there's not 5,000 people in this Revive chat right now agreeing means that you guys who are watching this right now need to share this on your social media.
Yes, indeed,
you need to tell your friends because we are more like-minded. You know what? It's funny. I find people all the time in the most random places. Like, you ever like, it's like you talk about something and like you see how they gauge it, right? Like, one of my favorite things to find out if somebody is like Republican, right, is I'll be at work or something and like we'll talk about the price of something or like the quality of something or how long something takes. And I'll be like, well, this is America now. And you set it out there, right? Because it's kind of like in volleyball. You hit it up in the air. Maybe they spike it, maybe they don't. Most people will be like, fucking Joe Biden. And then you know, right then and there. Got him. But this stuff, man, move on. I don't even want to look. I'm so sad. Like, I'm so sad. Like, why isn't there like
it's fucked up.
A Miss whatever pageant? Like, why is there, man?
I'm telling you, bro.
That's not even fair, bro. Like, I'm telling you. I don't even care. Take 1 million people in the world and line them up, man. Screw them judges. Line up 1 million people, men and women, and tell me who you think is a better-looking person to represent Miss Netherlands. I guarantee you that and don't tell them they're trans. Don't tell them they're trans because that's the kicker. Oh, they're trans. We got to. If we don't vote for her, we must be bigoted. We hate everybody. Like, no. Line them up and say these are 2 women. Don't talk about anything. Who's Miss Netherlands? I guarantee you that she gets less than 1% of the vote.
You know what pisses me off? It's how the fuck isn't the world unbothered about shit like this?
They are, but they don't know what to do. Again, it's Stockholm Syndrome. The Democrats have been beaten into continuing to vote for them. The Republicans have been beaten to believe that there's nothing they can do. Right? So the Democrats keep voting because they're like, well, I was told if I even think Republicans have good ideas that I fucking hate people. Like the guy last week, I don't want them to think I voted for him because he's black. Like, crying because they're beaten to believe a certain way. And the Republicans are like, what are we going to do? Right? I'm going to step up and speak. I'm going to lose my job. Or I'm going to lose my social circle. Or I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to do that. So they just shut up and they hide. Right? So what both sides don't realize is we're both being abused. And it's time to come together and just say, no, I'm not buying this. Moving on. I want you to see this now, and I want to play this video, and I'm going to ask you: do you think this is racist or no? Go ahead.
Read the thing though first.
This is assault. A white liberal just assaulted an African American man wearing a MAGA hat. History tends to repeat itself. Now watch this.
All over a Trump hat.
Towards like the end, because there's not really. It's towards the end.
You want me to go toward the
Just
end?
get right towards like the last 10, 15 seconds.
All right.
Yeah, right there.
Right there. There you go.
So he's in his face. All for wearing a Trump hat. What you gonna do? Takes his hat, throws it on the ground. That's it.
Yeah.
Now,
stupid.
Like, how you like? You don't really get to hear the context of the conversation, other than this guy like feeling the need at a local Benihana's or wherever he's at to virtue signal in his, in his Hill jersey, to be like, you supporting this racist, like, well, he hates black people and you're black. Like, I can only imagine this conversation was stupid.
Yeah.
But like, why mess with people? Also, I walk around with this hat all the time. I wish you would try to take this hat off my head. Like, bro, I don't play tough guy. Like, that's not me. Like, I'm not a violent guy. But like, I wish you would try to take this hat off my head.
Yeah, it's so stupid, bro. That's like and I know a lot of people are very serious about their like teams. You know what I mean? Like whether they're watching football or baseball.
Yeah.
And you're walking around with like a Giants jersey and somebody who doesn't like the Giants.
I've seen it all the time. Big Boston and New York, right? You see a guy in a Red Sox hat. Oh, yeah, I get that. And I think that's dumb. But like, listen, I see people wearing shit. Like, look, I'm working down at the shore. And you know how many people I see, men and women, every day, where I think to myself, who told you that you should wear this in public?
I'm confused though, Dave. Check it. What if that hat was a different color and it just said "Save America"? Would they still think that you?
No, it's the red. It's the red. It's the red.
So, but that's what I'm saying, though. Would they still think the same way?
No. I had a campaign hat. It's in my truck. Mm-hmm. It said Herrera for council. It was on a red hat, flat brimmed, right? And everyone's like, you got on it. It looks like a Trump hat. I'm like, it's a red hat. It's a red hat. They're like, but it looks like a Trump hat. I'm like, I'm Republican. Do you know what the party color is? They're like, red. But why couldn't you wear a blue hat? Like, I did a video last year. This guy, I spoke to him at the 4th of July fireworks. This was like 2 years ago. And he was like, I love your story about recovery. I love the fact that you're a restaurant owner. I love the fact that I like your policies, but I ain't going to vote for you. And I said, why? He said, because you're wearing a red hat. And I did a video where I had the red hat on, and I flipped it off, and underneath I had the exact same hat on in blue. And I was like, don't worry, baby, I got it in blue. And I said, I want you to judge me on the content of my character, not the color of my hat.
That's funny as
It was a funny-ass video. I'll show it to you after the show. But, again, like, literally people were afraid of me for having a red hat on. Like,
That's
this
funny,
hat,
bro.
this shape of hat could be blank, and you would look at it and immediately be triggered by it.
I don't understand, bro.
It's so, but that's what I'm saying. Are you awake yet? Like, the dog is wagging the tail in this country, right? The minority is telling the majority what to do.
Hey, you know what you should do, maybe?
What?
Maybe split that hat in half, have red and blue together on that hat, and see how people would react.
You're still racist. Moving on. It's some positive shit going on, right?
yeah,
and are you
indeed.
awake? A man climbs 19 stories to save his mother from a burning building. We're going to show you this video, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Because I thought this was pretty dope.
A man scaling a 19-story burning building in Philadelphia with the hopes of reaching his mother trapped inside.
I'm not just going to sit there and let my mom die. I'd rather risk my life falling than let her sit in there and die.
Sometime after 9:30 p.m., Jermaine received a call from his sister saying his 65-year-old immobile mother couldn't make it out of her apartment on the 15th floor. Jermaine rushed to the scene, but police had blocked off the front door. Jermaine let adrenaline take over, climbing the building's fenced-in balconies, wire cutters in hand.
I was going to cut a hole in the fence to next door and then, to let her go through.
The fire was contained by the time he reached his mother's floor. She reassured him from the balcony that she was okay, and back down he went.
Gangster.
Yo, that
Gangster,
bro. That is freaking awesome. Yo.
Gangster.
That's an awesome ass story,
I just got to
bro.
say, Ma, don't ever live on the 19th floor because I can't climb. And I'm scared of heights. Like, don't do this to yourself. If you're immobile, stay on ground level. I'll kick the door down. I'll run through the wall like the Kool-Aid man. But climbing, but shout out. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Right? It's because, again, they'll block it off. And there are people in the building, and they don't care, right? The same thing when there was that shooting in Texas, and parents were trying to get in there to save their children, and the cops stood outside putting hand sanitizer on their hands.
Yeah. It's just so
You awake
stupid,
yet?
bro. Yo, shout outs to Joe, man. He says, I shared on Facebook. Maybe many of my Facebook followers who are MAGA will tune in. Much
Let's
love,
go.
bro. And he says, also many positive reactions to me every time I wore my red MAGA hat over the years.
You know what?
Then again, I wasn't running for political.
There you go. But see, I kind of I have this. See, me and Billy get away with it because Billy is a 6'3", 260-pound black man with dreads, walking around Patterson in a MAGA hat.
Yeah.
You see him and you be like, that boy crazy. He crazy. And me, I'm 6'2" with a beard covered in tattoos, and I usually am pulling up on a Harley, and you know what I mean? Like, you ain't saying shit to me, and it's cool.
Yeah.
But touch my hat, please. One time. Just do it, please.
But going back to that story, man, definitely that was a very dope ass story, bro. But damn, yo, him climbing all the way to
That's
fuck
gangster,
up there
bro.
and
I
coming
wouldn't
back
do it,
down?
bro.
Oh.
I get vertigo on a fucking stepladder. Like, I'm not a guy for heights. I believe God made me the size He did to keep me on the ground. I'm a ground guy. I'm gonna carry the boats, and the logs. That's it. Climbing the fences, I don't know about. Ma, stay on the first floor. Moving on.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to support the podcast, go ahead and go to Revive. I keep saying slash.
Revive
Little
USA dash of Revive.
.com.
Yeah.
When you go on there, man, go into the Revive America shop. You can get to see, all the stuff, more episodes from the Revive America, all the way leading back to episode 1, yo.
Damn.
You guys been going in,
Damn,
bro.
son.
On top of that, you get to see all the merchandise they have in there as well. Make sure you guys cop yourself some hats, some shirts, and then we're gonna be having some
grand new party
Yeesh. merch.
That shit is fresh.
So make sure you
Kim
guys
out there
check that
wearing
out.
her grand new party hoodie right now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like 97 degrees, and Kim got a hoodie
She
on.
still got it.
I was like, she made me warm just looking at her. I was like, chill. What is you doing?
Well, I did have the AC on. That's why it was freaking kind of chilly in here before.
No, I like it. I like it. And also, if you are not, and if you're watching this, you are, but if you're not, follow us on Rumble, right? We broke 200 followers, man.
Yeah,
That's
we're
pretty
211
That's pretty
right now.
awesome, man. Please check us out at rumble.com/user/revive-US-America. We need more people to watch this show, patriots like you. And you know what? You'll be in the chat, and you'll find more people like you. And this is how we build a collective, right? This isn't about being alone anymore. We need to find people that think like us, that want to see the same things as us, that are on the same mentality as we are.
Hey, Joe, just to let you know, it's Billy Dave, and I'm paging Dr. Juan. I'm the sound engineer for Revive America.
He's the
Paging
doctor.
Dr. Juan.
So
Dr.
paging
Juan.
Doc. If you want to follow me on any social media platforms, it's paging Dr. Juan.
Paging
on
Dr.
every
Juan.
social media platform.
Be nice
Paging
with it.
Dr.
Be
Juan.
nice
Paging
with it.
Dr. Juan.
Moving on. I like this. Heartfelt shit. Republicans have made huge gains with Hispanics, Asians, and young voters in the last election as Democrats have faltered. Republicans have made huge gains amongst Hispanics, Asians, and young voters since the midterm elections. According to the report, the margin between Hispanics who voted Democrat and those who voted shrunk by a massive 26 points. Now, anybody who knows anything knows about politics, like 1 or 2 points is detrimental. 26 points is political suicide.
Yeah.
Now, I can say that when I hear Hispanics and Asians, that makes a lot of sense to me, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, most Hispanic countries, think about it, are trying to leave, right? Their countries are run by dictators, cartels. You have Venezuela that's socialist. You have Cuba that's full-blown communism. And then you have Asian countries. Look at what's going on in majority of these countries. China, full-on communist party. North Korea, you have South Korea that they have to live in fear of the little dictator that lives on the other side of the border, right? So when you talk about two-party system here in America, and one is leaning to you to this beautiful utopia of free, right? Free healthcare, free housing, free money, free. But they don't explain to you the fine print because you don't read that, right? It's like, remember back in the day, right, when they would show a toy on TV, it was like, get the new Rock'em Sock'em bullshit. And you were like, yeah. And it was like, batteries not included. And
Right,
like, they said it real fast. And you would buy this, and you were like, wait. Because, like, I really thought that when you bought those toys, it came with the dope-ass backdrop that they were playing with. Like, they had the trucks, and they had the big dirt mounds, and there was, like, fire. And it's like, bro, that shit ain't as cool playing with it on your kitchen floor. It's not. And it don't even got batteries.
Yo, I'm gonna be a big advocate of that, bro, because I brought and you remember those little mini radio players that play like a little snippet of the
Pop
song?
clips.
Yeah, the pop clips.
Pop clips.
So I thought it would play the whole song.
No,
So
it was like 30 seconds.
not even 30 seconds, bro. It plays like freaking 5 seconds of the song.
So dumb. So dumb. So when you see these voter bases and look at what their ancestral background has led to in terms of leadership in government, and then you wonder why they're leaning Republican, you don't have to ask yourself. It's plain and simple. One party has clearly become the party of the people, the middle class, freedom, rights, the government staying out of your business, smaller taxes, less regulation, and one party has become the ones of, why do you want us to go away when all we want to do is give you free stuff? Why would you want to get rid of me? I want to give you free healthcare, free housing. Don't you want that? Continue to vote for me. Oh, by the way, that free, the fine print, it's not batteries not included. It's 70% taxes on your income, which, by the way, is illegal. Here we go. So the young voters is something that I'm actually very excited to see. And I think that has a lot to do with the pandemic. These kids are on social media. As much as we don't want our kids on TikTok, it's where a lot of that red-pilled information is not being censored and where it's coming from. Kids are starting to wake up. Kids are starting to see what's actually happening around them and understanding that they're being played, and maybe there is hope for this younger generation. I don't think that there's much, but maybe there is some hope for them. Yeah. So this is great, but it doesn't surprise me. Moving on. Ooh. Yes. I saw this story, and I was like, The World Health Organization declared, now read this fucking headline. The World Health Organization declares widely used sweetener, aspartame, as possible cancer cause, but the intake guidelines remain the same. Now, Juan, bring it back over here.
All right. Go ahead.
I've been saying this forever about aspartame. And I was called what, Juan?
Conspiracy
A
theorist.
conspiracy theorist. They wouldn't do that. You're one of those tinfoil hat guys, aren't you? Aspartame, they wouldn't put things in our food that would kill us. Okay. And now it's come out that it might cause cancer, but don't worry, we're not changing any guidelines on it. If for those of you that don't know, aspartame is an artificial sweetener that they put in all those things that are considered diet, right? Because you were told that sugar is bad for you and that you should eat this stuff instead, which is found in diet beverages, sweeteners for your table, breakfast cereal, chewing gum, cough drops. The list goes on and on of what it's in. And we have been saying this. If you guys want to diet, right, because we're all on this health, fitness, wellness being stuff right now, you don't need artificial sweeteners. You don't need sugar. Cut it out. Cut it out. It's not necessary, right? This stuff is worse for you than the alternative of just having sugar. Now, I'm not here to advocate for sugar either, but at least you know what comes with sugar. You're going to get diabetes. It's going to slow down your blood processing. You're going to probably put on some weight. You're going to spike. Like, we already know all those things. The aspartame is a chemical compound. It's created to simulate artificial sweetness. Just cut it out. Right? I don't even put sugar in my coffee, regular sugar, right? I don't put sugar in pretty much anything I eat. I think I told you one, somebody brought like candy to the job the other day. I had one piece and I felt sick because my body isn't used to eating sugar anymore.
Yeah.
If you want to be healthy, you need to cut that completely out of your diet. Don't try to go with these substitutes. But what boggles my mind the most is that they straight up told you that it could cause cancer. but they haven't changed anything about how you should use it.
Yeah.
If you told me that something, I mean, I guess that's probably a bad example as I sit here and puff on my vape that, they say will cause me mouth or lung cancer. I know the risks in this, right? It's printed everywhere. They'll tell you this, smoking vapes or cigarettes or cigars is going to cause you cancer. Oh, all right, I understand the risks, right? Because you told it to me up front, and I can make an informed decision, right? This aspartame has been used for well over a decade. And now they're coming out, and they see how they try to slide it like, it might cause cancer, but don't worry, keep eating it. It's like at the end of the commercial, battery sold separately. Like, they slide this stuff in, right? They punch you in the face with the big stuff that you can't do nothing about, right? The transgender winning the Miss Netherlands. There's nobody that we can pin for the cocaine in the White House. There's nobody that knows anything about this whistleblower that could take down the Biden family. There's nothing wrong with making sex trafficking not a felony. There's nothing wrong with the economy. Nothing wrong with the unemployment. Nothing wrong. Nothing. Oh, by the way, this aspartame might cause cancer. They slid that in there. Keep eating it, guys. It's okay. Just like the vaccine might cause you heart problems, might cause this, but we still recommend you take it. If you guys aren't waking up and believing that you need to stop trusting everybody that's giving you this information and start to research it for yourself. Now, that's from CNN Health. So for anyone that wants to be like, you're spitting more conspiracies, this is from a major news outlet that most of y'all are going to follow anyway. Wake up.
What about those commercials that they always show, like when, arthritis pains or something, and then be like, do you have arthritis?
Yeah.
Well, now you got this new pill that comes out.
And there's people kayaking and having sex in tents, and like they go on vacation, and they're like make it seem like you take this drug and all this cool shit is going to happen. But then at the end it's like, this may cause heart problems, failure, fat, bloating, erection problems, sudden death, diarrhea. Like, it's like, dude, the side effects of anything that is worse than the initial, like, I'll keep the arthritis if it means that I'm going to end up, shitting blood.
Yeah, at this
point, like, my knees are okay. I'll be all right. Like, I just can't squat anymore. Like,
bro, you're giving me the treatment and you're making it sound fucking good, but then after that, just hit me with all this other shit.
Yeah, no, ridiculous. Moving on. Oh. We talked about this last week. Sound of Freedom is blowing up box offices. I don't know if you heard about this, but there's actually happening all over. They're turning the air conditioning off in these movie theaters all around the world just for this one. So they're making it super hot in these theaters so people don't want to stay. I'm like, oh, we didn't know about it, but it's happening simultaneously all across the country. But anyway, Sound of Freedom. QAnon adjacent thriller seducing America. Right. Now, but I'm not even going to read this article, even though in the first couple of days it grossed $14.2 million, which the Dial of Destiny, right, the fifth Indiana Jones movie, only made 11. So this grossed $3 million more than a box office Harrison Ford. And I'm not here to shit on Harrison Ford. Like, I'm going to end up watching that movie at some point.
Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I like Harrison Ford. He never came out said nothing wild. Like, let him live, bro.
Yeah.
That's Han Solo. Let him live. But anyway, I thought it was funny because here we have this is from The Guardian. Now here's a side-by-side. Go ahead, Juan, and put this on the big screen.
Alrighty.
The Guardian in 2018 talked about women's rights and gender equality. Child sex trafficking rife in Colombia. Picturesque carnage. The historic city is cracking down on an industry that targets children and young women from poor neighborhoods. December of 2018. Fast forward to now. Jim Cavell stars as a hero trying to stop child sex trafficking in paranoid new movie turning into surprise box office hit. What changed? What changed? There was a problem. They actually had this guy on NBC. There was a video in 2018. They hailed him. This guy ran a sting operation with the Colombian government where he shut down a sex trafficking house and he saved dozens of children from further torment and torture. and they heralded him as this amazing guy. And now here we are in 2023, and it's some paranoid QAnon conspiracy theory, while, at the same time, California just happens to be making it not a felony. Like, wake up. What changed?
It's
kind of like a rhetorical, but it also had to, because like the answer, right? Sex trafficking didn't just disappear. We talked about this on the other episode. Over 225,000 people are sex trafficked in the United States per year. Per year. That's a lot, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
For reference, the population of Iceland, the entire country, is 300,000. That would mean, like, in a year, we sex trafficked everybody who lived there. The whole country. We just kidnapped the whole country. Don't you think people would notice if a whole country, just all the people went missing? But you don't notice 200,000 in a country of 320 plus million. I get it. But to turn someone trying to bring light to an injustice or to a crime against humanity and people and turn it into a conspiracy theory, it's not cool. Like, you're not playing by the same rules here, right? I can understand people's discrepancies with 2,000 Mules, which was a documentary, which was actually very good, about election fraud and then ballot harvesting and stuffing ballots. And there's actual surveillance footage, unlike the cocaine that was in the White House. But I can understand your dissenting tone towards that. Like, election integrity is 100%. There's no problem in elections. But to go out and attack sex trafficking and say that it's not real and you're just a paranoid QAnon, for me, that means I want to go buy a ticket to this movie, because if these same people are telling me that this ain't real, those are the people you can't trust. These are also the same people telling you that aspartame might cause cancer, but keep eating it. These are the same people that tell you they don't know where cocaine came from. Same people telling you we need more billions of dollars to give to Ukraine.
Didn't they say, like, Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi have more sugar than the actual fucking
It's that aspartame.
Yeah,
which is terrible for you. Terrible for you, right? So when people like that are telling you, again, maybe do this for a day. Everything that these people have told you to believe, do the opposite for a week. Like that Jim Carrey movie, Yes Man, right? He was like a paranoid guy who couldn't make up his fucking mind. He never made a decision. But then he was told for like a week he had to say yes to everything. Say no to everything that these people are telling you for the next week and see if it doesn't drastically change the way you view the free world. That's a good experiment.
Yeah, it is.
We'll check in next week.
Yeah, indeed. Before we get to the next slide, I want to actually get into some of the questions here.
Yeah.
First, we'll start here with Kim. She says, I hate when people call everything a conspiracy when it's true. She says, I want to watch it. I think it's AMC. I think she was talking about The Sound of Freedom.
Yep.
Guido Joe says, I bet Biden administration is in on bringing down America with China. They're purposely in bed with China. Thoughts?
100%. 100%. At this point, there is no discrepancy that Joe Biden is in bed with China. I mean, we're seeing millions of dollars being wire transferred through shell companies that all end up being tied back to either the big guy or somebody along that family lineage. How could you say that there's not foul play happening here? But I think it's deeper than just China. I think it's China. I think it's Ukraine. I think there's a whole bunch of other messed up stuff going on, because we can't talk about how we're in a competition with China to be a superpower and then turn around and sell farmland to Chinese foreign nationals. The two things don't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell me that China's a threat to democracy and then sell them land on the inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. So I agree with you 100%. But again, back to what Juan said earlier, they're putting it in front of your face because they're basically like, there ain't not a single thing you gonna do about it. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna show up to the Capitol? Look how that worked out for some people. Stupid, right? They're gonna use it against you, and instead of you being able to voice your opinion and make something happen to bring change, they're gonna vilify you, right? They're going to make you the aggressor, right? Because you're going to come at that from a place of emotional distress, feeling like you are unheard, feeling like nobody's listening, and feeling like you are hopeless. And they're going to turn you into the monster. So they continue to try to poke you. What we need to do is to continue to talk to people, wake them up one by one, right? You ever seen Bug's Life, Juan?
I love that movie, bro.
Anybody ever seen Bug's Life? Drop it in the comments if you've ever watched Bug's Life.
I know exactly what you're going to say, the grasshopper.
The grasshopper sitting at the bar.
Yes.
Right? And he was talking about how the one ant got away.
Uh-huh.
And the guy sitting at the bar, the grasshopper goes, what's the big deal? It's just one ant.
Yeah.
And he was like, and they had a big bird feeder full of seeds.
Yeah.
And he pulled out a seed and he threw it at him. He go, did that hurt? He said, no. He took another one, he threw it. He said, did that hurt? He said, no. He rips the thing off and covers this grasshopper in seeds, and it kills him, crushes him. And he goes, it's not about one ant. It's when they realize that they outnumber us 100 to 1, right? If one stands up against us, it's not long before 2, before 10, before 100, before 1,000,000 stand up. That's why people like me, people like Billy, people who step up, right? Darius, Ian Smith, Phil Rizzo, patriots, people that step up and call it out. And, dude, my life was so much easier before I stepped into this light, right? Would I ever go back to it? Absolutely not. But my life was so much more simple when I just did my thing. Like, I could talk to guys like you, Juan, outside and be like, oh, the country's fucked, you know? But the moment I went public and said, hey, the country's fucked, they did everything in their power to make me look like the worst human being ever. And that's why most people don't want to do it. But what we need to realize is that, again, one, Dave Herrera cannot fix anything. 1,000 Dave Herreras, yeah, you might have something. 1,000,000 people who think like me. Now we're talking about generational changes to our country that we can do. And again, it's not from a, before they try to soundbite this, like, this isn't from a place of like fighting and it's about speaking and making these fucking people who control everything come to the table and work for us, because they do. We forgot that, right? This is a government for the people, by the people, and neither of those things apply in today's world. What we must do is get back to that where the people have a say. Right? I go to council meetings. You should be able to have a conversation with your elected officials. No, you're allowed to make a statement, and then you sit down, and they decide if they want to answer you or address you. It's the most ridiculous, backward shit ever. I elected you. I got questions. Why don't you want to answer them? Because they don't have to. Because what are you going to do? They have all, from local to federal, have forgotten who they serve. And I think it's high time that people stop fucking fighting over the dumb stuff. Stop fighting with your neighbors over what color their hat is. Stop fighting with people over what they want to do with their bodies. Stop fighting people over their sexual orientation or their religion or their dietary choices or what they do for a living, and come together as Americans, as neighbors, as countrymen, and realize that we must join together in order to get the changes that we want to see.
No, indeed, bro. Amen to that.
Moving on.
And
Oh.
we are
Yo.
here at
Sheep of the Week. Now, for those of you that have just tuned in for the first time, Sheep of the Week is our favorite part of the show. This is where we find, now you've seen a whole bunch of Looney Tunes shit that I just talked about on this show, but Sheep of the Week is where we find the looniest of the loons, and we give them their own little special place at the end of the show in front of the sheepy sheeps. So, this Sheep of the Week, go ahead, Juan. Pandemic fitness trends have gone extreme, literally. Physical fitness and violent hypermasculinity have always been central to the far right. It appears the far right has taken advantage of pandemic at-home fitness trends, Bowflexing and whatnot, and expanded its decade-plus radicalization of physical mixed martial arts and combat sports. Now, somewhere in America, some fat fuck was eating 3 pounds of Cocoa Puffs with 2% milk. Actually, it was probably whole milk, and just sitting there going, this is why I don't go to the gym, because these far-right extremists and their physical fitness. Bro, this is the sheepiest shit I have ever heard in my life. And if this isn't another call for you to wake up, that the plantation doesn't want you to be strong, right? They want you to also think that being healthy, that working out, that taking pride in your appearance is extreme. It's radical. It's far right. So what do? You do the exact opposite because that's what your masters have told you to do. Imagine waking up and believing that going to the gym made you an extremist. Imagine thinking that eating right made you far right. Imagine thinking that believing that aspartame and trans fats and sugar and saturated blah, blah, GMO bullshit made you a Trumpy guy. And there's people that believe that. There's people that will now boycott going to their Planet Fitness for Pizza Fridays because they believe that this is extreme. And the truth is because your masters want you weak. They want you soft. They want you full of estrogen. Look what they said, hypermasculinity. Bro, that word gets me fucking pumped. I like that. Hypermasculinity. Bro, there's nothing I love more than going to the gym in the morning and throwing up big weights with my big water bottle and doing other big boy shit with my big boy friends. Like, I like that. Does that make me extreme? Maybe.
You know, I think it brings every time I'm in the gym, bro, it don't matter who it is. Every single time I leave the gym, I always find that one person.
Yeah.
Just one person. Anybody could be the most randomest person, and I always give them a pound.
Yeah.
And I tell them one
that's
day
how
at a
that's
time,
how that's how gym bros start. Right?
One day at a time, brother. And then the guys are, yo, thank you, man. I needed to hear that. You know what I mean? Like, bro.
Yo, I didn't even realize. Did you see the back of this picture?
Yeah, I see the back. Yeah.
It's got Hitler hand signals in the back.
Oh, shit. Hold on. Let me bring it up.
Bring this back up on the screen for 5 seconds real quick. They literally have the Hitler salute behind muscles.
Wow. And MSNBC?
This is
What?
MSNBC. So again, they don't want you to feel good about yourself, right? Hey, just watch the news that we told you, eat the food that we told you, take the shots that we told you, don't work out like we told you, take your kids' fucking identities away from them like we told you. Oh, also, by the way, your kids aren't safe because that's not a felony anymore if they get trafficked into sex. But if you do decide to do a push-up, just know that Hitler's watching you. Like, this is the lunacy. The lunacy of that. If you didn't read this article for the first time right now and it doesn't make you like, I want to leave right now and go to my gym and do some fucking curls.
Right?
Curls.
This just motivates you more than anything in the world.
No, but it really goes down to, and I've said this before, when you invade a country, you're never worried about the women. You're not worried about the children. You're not worried about the elderly. Who are you worried about? Fighting-aged men, right? Now you have articles like this that will keep the fighting-aged men and women from keeping themselves strong, keeping themselves ready for whatever it may be. Stay home, get fat, be lazy, eat garbage, watch the TV we tell you to. Don't do anything else, because if you do, you're extreme. And the sad part is a company like MSNBC that has millions of followers, there's probably a 40% all group of people who read this and really truly believe this to some degree inside themselves. That when they see a guy like me, like, look, I got a little punch, but bro, these bitches don't bend. They probably think I'm extreme because I like to go to the gym, or I'm racist, or I support Hitler because I like going to the gym, because I like to lift weights, because I believe in nutrition, because I want to eat well. It's insanity. It's sheepery. And if you buy this stuff, this is all the more reason to tell yourself, look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself if you are awake. Because if you bought this, you're not.
Yeah, definitely not.
Hit the gym. That's all the time we have for today, guys. I really appreciate you joining. Please make sure you follow me at Not Your Typical Politician on Instagram. Please make sure you share this live stream. Again, this video can be viewed after we go off air, so you can copy the link right in the share. Send it to a friend through text message. Tell them to check us out. This is probably, it's people like you that are going to help us grow this. And we're going to build a community within the Revive community. And we need all your help. So please, drop a share, drop a like, drop a follow. We will see you guys next week. Billy will be back, and we will be here for episode 28 on Revive America. God bless. Good night.
Much love, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in.
You are now tuned in to Revive America.
Paging Dr. Juan. Paging Dr. Juan.
You are now tuned in to Revive America.
Paging Dr.